What up YouTube fams, Kara here, Capital K Comic Reviews, coming at you with another video. This one is going to be about an epic topic that every comic book person has gone through one time or another. Marvel versus DC. So just before we get into it, if you like the video, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, don't forget to hit the bell notification so you get notified when I drop new content on my channel. But let's get into it, eh? Let's go! Right guys, let's crack into it. This is an age-old argument that's been happening for years and years and years and years, and it's going to keep happening for years to come now. But as I've been at home lately in the lockdown because of the virus going around the world, had a lot of time to go through videos and look at what's out there in the Marvel in the comic world. And you know, the big argument is the Marvel versus DC thing. Now I came across a video of two guys from Lad Bible. Lad Bible put up a video of these two guys, one a Marvel fan and one a DC fan, talking about the same argument that we've all talked about between ourselves, between our mates, and in every which way. And we're going to crack into it because I thought it was quite a good video, and I just want to share my thoughts, see if I thought that their answers were right or wrong or anything like that. But we're going to crack into it. So yeah. So let's go with the first question then. So the first question is
come on, bring me another table and I will slide that. Come on, don't do this. Don't do this. That's not either commit or don't. This is not. No.
I say I disagree.
God's among men. God's among men.
Iconic.
Yeah, iconic. God's
iconic. You want to go iconic here?
Yeah. All right, listen. Batman and Superman are like the biggest superheroes on the planet. Kryptonite, as a term, is just used freely. I don't even think there's a copyright on it. I think like any sitcom can be like, oh no, that's my kryptonite. Oh no, he's my kryptonite, she's my kryptonite. You can just say that. You know why? That's osmosis into like into society. That's like, the idea is just like there, saying like, oh, I'm retreating to my Batcave. You don't have to be Batman to say that because these things have seeped into society. We are one with them.
This guy.
These are iconic moments.
This guy. You talk about iconic things. Okay, cool. Let's start there. Let's go there. 1941.
Yes.
We had Captain America punching
World
Hitler.
War. Oh, okay.
Yeah? We had Captain America punching Hitler. It was so good, they did it again for issue 2, but in a different angle. Yeah? They did it. Yeah? That's iconic. Iconic itself.
Superman has fought Nazis.
Iconic characters.
Yeah.
Iconic
Who
characters.
is more iconic than Superman?
How many people say
the OG superhero?
When people get angry, oh, man's gonna be hulking out, you know. People say them things, you know.
That's true. That's a good point.
People say them things there.
They do.
When they talk about, okay, fair enough. When they talk about science, first people think about is Tony Stark. They don't talk about Batman.
Batman's not a scientist.
Well, he does science type of things with technology all the time.
He does so.
He has a lot of gadgets.
People have only known who Tony Stark is for 13 years, like before 2007.
It's irrelevant.
No one cares.
It's still iconic. How many people you see?
Not as iconic as a character who's been around for over 70 years.
Since Black Panther came out now, how many people you see go Wakanda forever? Wakanda forever. How many times?
Like you and maybe like 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
I'm lying. That's terrible.
I know.
No, I'm so sorry.
All right. So the first question is DC's characters more iconic? You know, you got like he said, he said, Superman and Batman, very iconic characters. Yes, they are indeed, but unfortunately, the most iconic superhero character in the world is Spider-Man. It is fact, it is proven, it is pretty much written in stone. So, but not to say that Superman and Batman aren't iconic. They are very iconic, absolutely, there's no argument about that. But the most iconic character in superhero genre is Spider-Man, without a doubt. Hence it be for the movies or the cartoons or whatever, over the years since he has come out, he has grown more iconic than any other superhero out there. You can disagree or you can agree. It is proven that Spider-Man is the most recognisable superhero around the world. So, and then they went on to saying, you know, like feats that superheroes have done. So going from iconic characters of each company, the sayings or that people use in pop culture. Yes, you know, kryptonite is one of them that people use. Oh, you know, like she's my kryptonite, or not too sure about the Batcave one, but you know, but each character on there's characters on either side of the argument that have these iconic sayings as well. You've got, maybe not well known as the kryptonite one, probably the closest one to that is the hulking out one, like Michael said, which you know, I've heard numerous times. Lately, the Wakanda Forever, that's going around. There's the things clobbering time, and things like that. There's you know, you can go Green Lantern and Darkest Day and Blackest Night, or Shazam. So every character's got their own side on both sides. So, you know, but the most iconic character in the whole superhero genre is, or most recognisable iconic one, is Spider-Man. So I disagree with the man Scott here, that's DC fan, saying that Superman and Batman are the most iconic. No, Spider-Man is, but Superman and Batman are right up there. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. So we'll get into the next one here. So yeah, well, let's get into the next question. This is a bit of a doozy, you know, but you know, let's see how it goes. Batman would beat any hero.
Okay.
I'm
You know
definitely
what
with
this
Michael
question
on
is
this.
about, right?
Yeah, it's
Take
about
away
prep
prep
time.
time.
Yeah,
Let's take away-
that's what it's about.
let's
It's
take
about
away-
prep time.
Let's take away that
It's a
prep
prep time.
time.
What all
With
DC,
prep
yeah,
time,
I don't
Bruce
know why.
Wayne will take out God himself. Okay?
God himself.
God himself. Yes?
Okay,
With
Batman-
prep time.
Okay,
With prep time.
There's a lot of geniuses in Marvel, yeah?
Yeah.
In Marvel
Yeah,
comics. Batman won't beat them.
With prep time.
With prep time. With prep time, he won't
With
beat them.
prep time, he
With
wouldn't
prep-
beat them.
He won't beat them.
Okay,
He won't beat them.
list those people for me then.
Okay, Tony Stark.
Yeah.
That's another
Tony
person.
Stark.
Yeah.
Right. He's too narcissistic. He's too up his own arse. He's too obsessed with himself.
And he won't allow himself to get beaten by the bats.
Easily. You know what Batman will do? He'll kidnap Pepper.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, let's crack into that one. Let's crack into that. Batman will beat any hero ever. Batman will beat any hero. Nonsense. It's just totally untrue. There's no way in hell that Batman would be able to beat every single hero, even with prep time. It's just not possible. And Michael came back in his rebuttal and said, Tony Stark. If you put Tony Stark in there, and you know, if you put Tony Stark in, or if you put Iron Man and Batman in the battlefield, didn't know anything about each other, and they just had to go to war, to me it'll be a draw, or end up kind of a draw. And here's why I think it would end up in a draw, because you have Batman on one hand, superior hand-to-hand combatant, is well versed in multiple martial arts and hand-to-hand combat, and so is well skilled in that, and has spent years and years training, fighting bad guys. So he's built up a level of tolerance, strength, and skill. So that's what he would bring to this fight. But then on the other hand, you've got Tony Stark's Iron Man. Now, once Iron Man comes into battle, just with his suit alone, will make a lot of Bruce's martial arts void, really, because just the Iron Man suit alone comes with certain durability, certain definitely super strength and durability. Now those are the two key ones. Now Iron Man is definitely not as versed in martial arts as Bruce is, but with his Iron Man suit, evens the playing field. Now this is with no prep time, guys, so even with no prep time, they're just going at it. It'll be an even fight, because you know Bruce will keep doing his things to try and counteract what Tony's doing. But and if it did come to someone that would win it, I would have to go with Iron Man, because purely because of the suit, just purely of what the suit is capable of, what it brings to the battlefield. You know, and you've got Batman's batarangs and smoke grenades and grappling hooks and all those gadgety stuff. But if you look at Iron Man's gadgets, it's like you've got unibeams, you've got repulsor blasts, you've got the smart bombs, you've got the laser armor cutters. You've got this whole array of. He's got this whole arsenal in his armor. So and that's no prep time. With prep time, now to say that Batman gets prep time, to me that should mean that his opponent should get prep time, because the only way that Batman would beat Iron Man is if Iron Man was unaware that Batman was coming for him. So I wouldn't give Iron Man time to prepare for Batman. But if Batman knew, you know, Batman prepped and Iron Man didn't know about it, yep, Batman would be able to beat him, hence because he said it's prep time. But if you're going to give one prep time, you're going to give the other one prep time. You know, because if they go into a big battle where it was like Justice League versus the Avengers, Batman would be coming in and thinking of, before they even go into battle, strategies and tactics on how to get around certain heroes. But as we're just using Iron Man, he would pick that time to get around Iron Man, and Tony Stark would do the exact same thing, because they are both highly intelligent, both very tactical people on the battlefield, and before, so they're both marvelous at prepping themselves for their enemies. So in essence, I think it would be a draw. But if I was to pick one, and it's not because I'm a Marvel fan, I would have to pick Iron Man, just by a smidge, just purely of what his arsenal of his armor brings to the party. But hey, you know, that's why we have these arguments, isn't it? So let's get to the next question. DC has better villains.
DC, what?
Spider-Man. He's Rogues Gallery alone.
Don't do this, because you know.
Let's go there. Let's go there. Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery.
So he's using
rivals
Spider-Man.
Batman's Rogues Gallery, hands down.
Rivals. You couldn't even bring yourself to say beats, because it doesn't.
It rivals it.
It does.
Nicely.
I'm not here about rivals. I'm here about Batman's is better.
No, it's not.
Beats
Spider-Man's
Spider-Man.
is far more better.
Spider-Man.
Come on.
All right, come on, hit me.
Come on.
Let's do it. For the sake, just to be generous to you, as an act of charity, I'm going to take Joker off the table.
Okay.
That's how much I believe in this way. That's how much I believe. Most Marvel villains are just dark versions of the hero. So, like, even if you want to go with MCU,
but
I can
just
list off
like
to you
DC.
the amount of MCU movies where in the first movie, the bad guy at the end of it is just the good guy in a dark costume.
Just like DC,
Like a lot of there's a lot more intrigue, I would say, from some of the DC villains.
So, DC villains, DC villains, Zod.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sick.
Superman
Oh
Dark.
my God, Michael
Superman.
Shannon.
Yeah, but Superman Dark, that's what he is. He's got the same powers as Superman and everything. Zod, that's what Zod is, yeah?
But he's not Superman's biggest villain, is he? That's Lex Luthor.
That's Lex Luthor.
Which is actually an incredibly interesting idea, that the most powerful man in the universe...
And you use Jesse who to play him? Might as well call him Riddler Light.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg is a sick actor.
And he's
a sick actor. Don't do
The red
this.
capes are coming.
Don't do this. He's a sick
The
actor.
red capes are coming.
Yeah, that was mildly... Don't listen.
How
Oh my God.
dare you mention him?
I'll bring Joker back up from down here.
You can bring
if you
Joker
keep
back
this
in.
up, I'll
You
bring
can
Joker
bring
back up.
Joker in.
I don't have to bring Joker.
You can bring Joker
I don't
in if
have
you
to
want
bring
to.
Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix and Jack Nicholson into this. I don't need to. Who's your best villain from your MCU world? Who's
My
your
best villain?
Are you going to go with Mr. You going to do this? Thanos? Is that it? No?
No.
Who is it?
I will say Magneto. And the reason why I say that, Michael Fassbender did him justice.
Those movies didn't, though.
Yeah. Right. So, whose villains are better? So the man Michael here has gone with Spider-Man's plethora of villains. As for Scott, has gone with Batman's. You know, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. He's like one of my top 3 superheroes of all time. Now, like Scott said, if he's going to put Joker off the table, you know, just to be nice. So, okay, well, yep, you take Joker off the table. Male Spider-Man's heroes are better. You know, they're better. You know, you've got, on Batman's side, you've got the Riddler, you've got Bane, you've got Two-Face, you've got Poison Ivy, you've got Catwoman, all iconic characters. But then you got on Spider-Man's side, you've got Venom, you've got Carnage, you've got Green Goblin, you've got the Hobgoblin, you've got Sandman. So if you take Joker out, that's fine. I think Spider-Man's ones are better. But if you put Joker back in, Batman's is better. So if we look at it as a whole, just Spider-Man and Batman's, I'd have to say just purely for the fact of the Joker alone, Batman's would be higher than Spider-Man's. The only ones that come close to Joker's status, because Joker is iconic. He's just one of those iconic villains that has been around forever and a day, and you can't take that away from him. He is one. So the only ones that come close, I think, in Spider-Man's mythos of villains is probably Venom and Carnage are probably the closest in popularity and iconic status, even though the Green Goblin is Spider-Man's arch nemesis. But you know, I'd hate to say it, but you could probably just put Joker alone and all of Spider-Man's villains, and Joker would still be better. You know, it's just because of his iconic status, and he. It's just it. It's just he's an iconic character. He's an iconic villain. You cannot take that away from him. So, in this argument, yeah, I think DC's Batman has the better villains purely because of Joker than Spider-Man. But hey, you know, it is what it is. Give some, you lose some, you know. So, yeah, let's get into the next one. Ooh, Stan Lee.
I feel so harsh. If he was alive, I'd be like, yeah, to hell with it. I'd be like, yeah, screw you, Stan, whatever. No, I'm going to have to go with agree.
Yes, so you should.
I didn't know the guy, but look what he has done. For example, he was thinking, when he done Spider-Man, for example, that was his idea, that was his own concept to roll by it himself, right? When he's doing it now, making all these characters, he made him so relatable, and even the concept of introducing ethnic minorities into the comics as well.
That
was very unique. Yeah. That was very unique, and I can't knock him for that. He did it so subtly until the point where he introduced Falcon, Black Panther, Luke Cage. Come on.
He made Ben Grimm Jewish, and he's...
It's like his cultivations here, instead of just make it just a whitewash, he done it in a way where he wanted to evolve everyone, because he wanted to make
diversity right
into comics and vice versa.
I can see some sense in that.
Yeah, so first off, he wasn't going to agree with it. Scott was not going to agree with it. That's, to me, a typical DC fan reaction. And anyone in any comic company or any comic argument to say that Stan Lee isn't a genius or didn't make a considerable difference in comics per se, in general, is to me an idiot. Because what Stan Lee brought about, and it wasn't just him, you know, you've got the grandfathers of comics, which is Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. You know, without these two guys, you know, and there's a lot more around it, but without these two guys sculpting the way that the comic universe is seen today, without them we would not have the Fantastic Four. Without them we would not have the Spider-Mans, and without like the likes of Kirby, you wouldn't have the New Gods and stuff like that. So to say that it's not a genius is, in the comic realm, sacrilege to me, because what they brought to the party and what they did for the industry was phenomenal. And to take that away and to say, regardless of what fan base you come from, to say that they didn't, or that they're not geniuses, or they're not, you know, they weren't the forefathers of our industry, of this industry, is stupidity to me. But hey, that's just me. Stan the Man Stand the Man for a reason. And you know, that's all. Enough said. Hey, so we'll get on to the next one. DC films.
Yes! Look at the last couple of movies. So
Yeah.
you've got Birds of Prey, Aquaman, Shazam,
Yeah.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Prey
In
was
between
crap.
there is Justice League. Forget about that terrible
Yeah.
movie.
I don't mind
But
Justice
those four
League.
movies, Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman, and Birds of Prey,
Yeah.
they all have personality. One of the things that I really enjoy about the DC movies is that they are prepared to be bad. They are prepared to risk being a piece of crap in favor of having some level of like weird, different personality.
But that's the thing, they take too much risks.
I think the mechanism via which DC will catch up is by saying, we're not going to do what Marvel do, which is cookie-cutter movies that all have some level of similarity.
Yeah, but it's-
Marvel is practically like IKEA of superhero films at the moment. Everyone's going to end up with the same thing.
But the thing is with Marvel, at least one person, Kevin Feige, is always seeing and superseding it all. They all have different flavors to a degree.
I don't like that though. I mean, granted, Kevin Feige, super genius.
But the,
Good
thing
luck
is
to
that,
him.
but the thing is that they have a set plan, and some things are uniform and it goes together with it. You understand? While DC, it's this mishmash.
For the sake of argument, why do you need to have a plan of where we're going for? Why can't you just make good movies?
Okay.
The Marvel movies have given you the expectation that it all needs to come to this big clusterfuck crescendo, and it doesn't.
I strongly disagree with Scott, especially on that last statement that he made. But we'll go back to the original question: can DC get up to where Marvel is now? And the answer is yes. Yes, they can. The reason why they haven't is because I think it's factual knowledge that they tried to catch up to Marvel too quickly. Everyone thought that Marvel, when Kevin Feige came out with this 10-year plan of where he wanted to go, this vision he had of the cinematic universe, everyone thought he was crazy. It was never going to work. And then you track the 10 years after that, where it came together with Avengers, and I think DC thought, damn, we're lacking behind, we need to catch up on this, and they decided to jam too much into too little. Hence why the Justice League didn't do too well, because in saying that, I didn't mind the Justice League. I didn't mind it at all. I've watched it many times now, and I don't mind it. Batman vs Superman, didn't really mind that as well, but that's what I'm saying. I think they rammed too much into it too quickly to try and catch up to Marvel too fast, instead of taking their time and getting up to Marvel, or maybe even eclipsing Marvel at a certain stage in the future. But to say that Marvel is the IKEA of superhero movies, or to say that why does every movie have to end up in a big epic cluster, what do you see, or crescendo thing? Well, my man, just like comics, it's exactly like comic books. If you read comic books, it gives you a storyline every episode. So you read that one, and then okay, to be continued in the next episode, until the epic or climax of that story arc. So I don't really know what he's saying there. I just think he's just trying to stab at the dark at Marvel, because Marvel has been smashing it in the cinemas, and yeah, to say that it's just not. It's just wrong. It's just wrong, because and to say that DC, he feels that DC wants to. Feels it's okay if we brought out something that's crap, as long as we're kind of like diverse or different, I don't think, and I'm pretty sure most movie studios like this will put out something that they feel might be crap, but just because it might be different. They do not. I don't think they go looking in there and saying, I think this movie's going to be crap, but we'll just put it out there and see what happens. Every studio is out there to make a killing at the box office. Every studio is out there to make money. So to put out crap means your return is going to be no good, which makes it harder for you to, hence why there's no Justice League 2 and stuff like that, because the first one bottomed out. Batman vs Superman bottomed out. Wonder Woman, fantastic. Aquaman, fantastic. Shazam, I didn't mind it. Wasn't really my cup of tea, but I didn't mind it. Man of Steel, love Man of Steel. A lot of people don't like Man of Steel. So I think there's a lot of things they're doing right. But yeah, if you're going to choose to do your Marvel, your DC movies like Marvel, then take the time. You know, sit back, relax, take your time, set it out, and then set your footsteps in the way you want to go, just like Marvel did, you know. And DC will get there, but I'll give you that. I'll give DC this. The one thing they excel at is, and that is their animation. Their animation side of it is just crushing it. All their animated movies, even their animated TV shows, crush Marvel's. Unfortunately, you know, you got all the Avengers and that on Disney Plus and stuff, and all these Marvel shorts on Disney Plus and stuff like that. But you look at the catalogue of what DC has brought to the party with animation movies, it's just phenomenal compared to Marvel. Marvel has got no, you know, as a Marvel guy, I wish that they were like DC in that and brought out all these Marvel movies, you know, to do a good Civil War, animated Civil War, or something like that, or an Onslaught series for the X-Men. Oh my gosh, I'd love that, because I think that is one of the best storylines out there, is the Onslaught one. But that's where I think DC has kind of crashed and burned with. They have tried to copy Marvel to an extent, and it failed for them, so they're just picking up the pieces and figuring out what they're going to do now. If they decide to just keep them as one movie packages, no worries, mate, no worries. But don't say that Marvel is a cookie cutter, and everything doesn't have to be a storyline to up to a big arc, which that is in our comic world. That's exactly what comics are. They're individual stories that complete up to climax at the end of it, of the story arc. So yeah, but I think DC can catch up, and I think they probably will. And who's to say they won't take over Marvel, you know? Oh, you know, take over from the cinematic universe. But yeah. So we're getting into this other question here. Marvel superhero films ruining
cinema.
Ruining cinema.
Cinema!
This comes from
Ruining
Martin
film.
Scorsese, yeah.
Oscar-winning superhero movies are ruining cinema. All of these
strongly
superhero
disagree.
films. You know, Martin Scorsese is going to be outside to bang us up.
Try, I got a shield.
No, he didn't.
I was that shit at him.
I'll stand beside you.
But
There's no way movies, Endgame, just Endgame. Let's forget everything else.
Endgame.
Let's just talk about Endgame. Look at how much we're
Oh my
smiling
God.
right now. That's how good the memory of Endgame is.
When
And when
he's-
you come away from memories from a cinema like that, midnight showing, like 100 people, packed out cinema. How is that bad for cinema?
exactly, he's a really
How can it be bad?
booming business.
You know how many people I know that exclusively watch their movies by like streaming them on a dodgy Korean website, all went to the cinema for Endgame.
That says a lot. That says a lot. in
That's good for
itself.
the industry. That's putting
Of course.
money in Martin
Thank
Scorsese's
you.
pocket.
But he would actually complain that he's not good.
He said he hates the money in his pocket. I didn't even like The Irishman.
Well, yeah, that stems from the Martin Scorsese comment where he thinks that superhero movies are ruining cinema. Which, you know, I don't know, not at all. Like Scott said, you know, if you're packing out cinemas in a midnight screening, you know, that's the whole reason why actors and producers and directors and movie studios are in this business. They're in it to make money. But yeah, so that's the video I watched really, and you know, it was quite an interesting argument. It's an argument that's going to rage on for eons. There's going to be no end to it. I think it is just a butting of heads, regardless of what fan base you come from, Marvel, DC, Valiant, whatever one you do. It's just my one's better than your one kind of thing, you know. And it's just a repetitive argument that people are going to knock heads about till the ends of time, and yeah, I don't think that's going to stop. But for me personally, Marvel's better. Marvel will always be better, regardless. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. What I do think they should do is I think Marvel and DC should talk, and they should get in talks with Midway or Square Enix or some big gaming firm, and get us fans what we want. Marvel versus DC fighting game. People have been after it for years, and that's one way that us fans can let out our rage without trolling people online and leaving ugly comments on our videos about you're wrong and blah blah blah. Let's just go online and let's just bash it out. Who doesn't want to grab, as a Marvel guy, who doesn't want to grab control of the Incredible Hulk and beat the living daylights out of Superman? It'll be a dream come true. You know, it's like, who wouldn't want to grab Batman and beat the living snot out of Iron Man? You know, for DC fans, that'll be a dream come true. That'll be, launch it on the PS5 or something, but give it to us, because you know, it'll just be one way for us to let out our rage and anger against each other about who's better and who's not, and then it just comes down to skill set of each person. So what do you think about that, guys? Put your comments down below. What about you think about that, about someone doing a DC versus Marvel game? But in general, what are your thoughts about who's better and who's not? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you guys for coming along and watching this video. Don't forget, hit the like if you like the video, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell notification so you get notified when I drop new content, because you'll miss out if you don't. So thank you guys once again for coming along, and appreciate your time. We's out.